We win again. We win again. Chelsea beat Brentford at home. We win again. Welcome back, everybody. We're so back. We're so back. That was certainly a game. That was certainly a game. 3 points. Cucurella post game red card for a second yellow. Just so on brand for this Chelsea team, really. But we win. We win. That's another 3 points to the sexy spreadsheet of expected whatevers. In the year-over-year comparisons, points-wise, on pace for 78 by that. 34 from 16 played is pretty good. Huge shot differential game, huge box differential game. I think the thing that's very frustrating about this game is that for 65 minutes, it was virtually the perfect Chelsea performance. It was like 1.5 XG to 0.1. It was like not even a close game. It was like 19 shots to 1. It was so dominant. So dominant. And then players start to get tired. Brentford make a bunch of their subs. Like, basically from the Yanelt sub on, Chelsea were pretty terrible. It's just... Chelsea were really flat from then on, and it's hard. Like, I've said this on the podcast a few times, and I've said it on stream a few times, but like, it's really difficult to... It's really, really, really difficult to... Like, energy is almost more important than quality. Like, when you are tired enough, it does not matter how much better than the other guy you are. He's fresher than you. He can run more than you. And I think that was the big thing, is like Chelsea really fell off defensively. They were the biggest thing to me in the first 65 minutes is Chelsea's counter press was unbelievable. Unbelievable, I think, in the first 65 minutes. Like, Brentford got nothing. They didn't even get dangerous transitions. And then the air goes out on the counter press a little bit. Cucurella's late. Caicedo's late. Enzo's late. Palmer's late. The wingers are late. Jackson is late. And like, these guys are tired. Gusto's late. Like, these guys get tired. And now because they're tired, you have transitions. And now because the transitions are further, you got to run all the way back to your goal. So you're more tired because you're running all the way back to your goal. And then because you ran all the way back to your goal, you're building from way deeper. So now your builds are harder. And now you complete less of them. And now because you complete less of them, Brentford are transitioning more. And because they're transitioning more, you're more tired. And this cycle just builds and builds and builds. And this is the thing I think that really hurt Chelsea today is like, you have to make the subs. Even if you look at the bench and you say, who am I bringing on here? Like, you are legitimately better to bring on SRS, Sam Raksaki, for Enzo at minute 70 because Enzo is gassed and can't run anymore. And then, like, okay, Enzo assists the second goal, so it is what it is. But, like, you are genuinely better to bring SRS for Enzo at 70 minutes, and, like, that's a much better way to handle that. Or you bring Vega on, or you bring Josh on for Gusto, or whatever it is. Like, I don't care. I actually would have really liked to see late in the game, I think, like, Tyreek should have come for one of the wingers. I think the Nkunku for Jackson sub should have happened way earlier. I think there were a lot of subs you could have made. I thought Palmer was dead. Yeah, Luca Tenerella. Palmer's on his arse by the end. Palmer was dead by the end. And that is, like, if you want to be really negative, that was one of my biggest red flags about Maresca. One was the defensive stuff, which, like, clearly defensive stuff is, like, not great. But the defensive stuff and the lack of subs was, like, Leicester were the third least subby team in the championship last year. And it's somewhat balanced out by the fact that Chelsea get to rotate extremely heavily midweek, so nobody's ever super overcharged with minutes, but it's hard. Like, Brentford are a very physically demanding team. They make games extremely difficult to play in. It's very difficult to play in that. And I think, like, it's not an ideal set of midfield subs, but, like, I think you need to see them. Like, I think we should have seen Tyreek. I think we should have seen maybe Disasi and Vega towards the end. Like, I think you needed the subs. You needed the subs. We got a lot of people in chat today. We're banging. I love this. Andy did the substitutions and our lack of something. Give Brentford light. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's Comster. Speaking of Bob Sanchez was nice. I thought Bob Sanchez was very, very, very good today. Very, very, very good. He's not going to get as many. This is the thing. Well, I guess whatever, you got man of the match on this, but. So he makes one insane save. The one on the volley is really good, but I thought his cross taking was really good. I thought he took like the right level of risk playing out, but he had two high cross claims that I was like, yeah, you're sick. Good for you, man. You're like, good for you for that, because it's huge, and then it starts to transition. I thought it was quite good. First 60 minutes, by far the best we played all season. Yeah, 100%. By far the best we played this season. Maybe. It was very good. I don't know if it's the best, because we played pretty well some games. Thomas Wilkinson, Caicedo stopping every counter immediately was soup for the soul. Yeah, literally the one transition Caicedo isn't there to stop Chelsea concede. I thought Caicedo was very good today, but some people say he's an average player. Yeah, for sure. My favorite was the smother save on Mbeumo. Yeah, absolutely, at the back post. He did a really good job. He's lucky. He's lucky to only concede one, right? Like, the crossbar chance is a huge chance. I didn't love the 1v1 decision. on the Mbeumo goal. Like, I think you are way better off sitting deeper and giving yourself time. But at the same time, like, there's no recovering defender. If you sit deeper, he's going to dribble further. So it's kind of hard to say. But, like, my inclination is sit deeper and make him hit the corner. Because the spot he puts it in is not a great spot. Like, it's an okay spot. But if Sanchez is 2 yards deeper in his goal, he saves it. Like, I would probably have set at the 6-yard box and, like, make him hit the corner. Like, make him beat you on the finish. I think that would be the more optimal choice. But yeah, like, you look 5 subs to 1. Like, it's very hard to compete physically on that. Josh Otter, GK question. He was basically laying down in the Mbeumo goal. Should he have been more spread and upright, or is that because the shot went higher? And then Wassa said, it's hard when it's that far out. But yeah, I agree. The metrics say stay at home. Yeah, so like we've looked this up a million times on stream. But if you go look at the John Harrison 1v1 stuff, it's really good in terms of linking 1v1 decision technique to the situation. And when he's that far out, and I think that far out, and especially about on the angle, like, you should stay home and make him hit the corner. Because if you come and you try and spread, which is what he does, he like dinks it, and then it's like he just has to beat you. He doesn't have to hit a good spot in the net. He just has to beat you. So it's pretty tough. How worried am I about the defense? Kadar, good weekend for Chelsea. Absolutely, all the drop points. If any of you have been paying very close attention, the title of the progress bar has changed. From Road to the Champions League to Road to the Title. Maybe. I don't think so, but it's fun. It's fun to entertain. I will say this is very funny. I know. I don't think Chelsea are a realistic title contender. Like, I just don't. Like, watch the last 30 minutes of the game, and they're just not, right? However, my, like, irrational, like, body, brain, I don't know, whatever, thinks we are, because the last 3 games, particularly today in Spurs, I have been absolutely bricking it. The last 30 minutes of these games were like, when Chelsea are like less good and like there is less on the line, I'm pretty calm. I'm not like a super emotional watcher, but the end of these games, I am on the ropes, like watching, like leaned over. By the way, I've got a blanket because it's cold as anything here. But I'm just like, I'm very, very, very on edge. So like ultimately, I don't think we're a title challenger, but I do think like we're putting enough points on the board now that definitely going to come top 4, but also you're insulating yourself against the points deduction if anything happens later, because that is still potentially going to happen. So like if you can get yourself where you get 78 points and you get points deducted down to 68, you're probably still going to make top 4, right? So we'll go from there. But I think we are now 9 points short of what we got in the Potter season. So, improvement. We might hit the Potter season at the halfway point, which is pretty crazy. It is. It's Callum Walsh. Understat has Chelsea 2.6 to Brentford 1.6. Some big XG differences between models. That's interesting. I wonder. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff on this game because there's some weird shots. Like if you look at, let's see. Yeah, like I don't think it likes the Carvalho chance enough. Like 0.5 for that, I think is low. What does it have the goal as? And like that's, I don't know, it is kind of far out. Maybe it's not that low for the goal. It likes the Jackson. Like I think the Jackson chance being higher than the Fabio Carvalho sliding chance is wrong on my like vibes-based XG feeling. This is closer. It's more central. The goalkeeper's lying on the ground. Understat doesn't know that. Understat is just a who scored scraped model. They just scrape who scored data. This is like left foot away from goal. Like I don't think that's. And then let's see what FOTMob has it at. Like FOTMob has it. Nope, not that one. Is it this one? Like that's crazy. Like 0.77 is insane. It's behind him. It's a volley. It's on his left foot. It's away. That's crazy. This I would suspect that this is going to look really different in a few hours. I'm going to bet this actually ends up being a pretty even XG game. I think this is going to get adjusted up. I think this one's going to get adjusted up. And I think this chance, where is it? This chance is going to get adjusted down. I think. That's my guess. Yeah, that's interesting. There's going to be pretty big model differences, I think, in this one. Just to say on the points deduction, it was said, can't remember by who, that we haven't been charged yet. Very unlikely for anything this season. I don't know. The Everton and Nottingham Forest ones moved very quickly because they wanted it to happen the same season. I don't know. Like my gut feeling is that Chelsea are going to get points deducted exactly to the amount of points that they don't miss top 4. So if Chelsea put up 75 points and 68 gets you Champions League, they're going to get 6 points deducted because they're not going to want to. It's going to be the same as last year. They're not going to want to relegate someone on points deduction, so they're going to do the maximum they can do without affecting things that much. That's my pretty strong take on it. Sir Valarian, who do you think plays left back against Everton? I know it won't be Chilwell, but the years that Kuka's been arriving and been taking up makes it feel like he would thrive. Yeah, I mean, as an arriver, yes. I don't think Chilwell can do the like interior, like I don't think he can do this stuff in here. I don't think that's really his game. But in terms of like overlapping and arriving the box, absolutely. I think Chilwell would be really good at that. My guess is it'll just be Vega. Or or Disasi, and Gusto plays left back. Those are the two that I kind of look at and say, maybe. I think those are probably the two that I would squint at and say are possible. But I don't know how likely they are. I think Disasi's been like pretty fine lately. And it lets you do, depending how injured Badiashile is, like it lets you do a really big back four. Like if you did Vega, I don't know. Like we'll see. I was actually quite surprised. I thought we'd see Gusto left back, Josh right back. Yeah, that's an option. I would be surprised, but we'll see. I think it's possible. But I think Josh will play. Midweek. I also think this means Cucurella will maybe play midweek as well. We'll see. The two Brentford games at Bridge almost a year apart, and the ultimate difference was Cucurella scoring this year while wasting a sitter last year in the first half. It's actually pretty funny. Like, it is real. Kadar, I'd actually want the points deduction now instead of next year. Well, I think Chelsea are going to be facing points deductions pretty much every year, depending how the money works. So we'll see. Because like it's going to have to be any business Chelsea do is going to have to get done before June 30th to count for this year to avoid penalties for next year. You know what I mean? Andy, how does Thomas Frank scale up? I think Thomas Frank's a really good coach. So like, I think one of the things they did really well, and the reason we saw so much I actually really want to know. I want to know why Chelsea crossed so much today. I hope somebody asks Maresca in the post-match press conference, because Chelsea crossed a lot today. Like, a lot. So if we go, like, whatever. We didn't really talk about any. Whatever, the stats are all there. Doesn't matter. We've talked about them. I think there's some, like, interesting tactical things that happened today. So first off, Chelsea build... So, like, the two things we've seen this season, there's one of two builds in general that we have seen. Or not builds, more like settled possession shapes. We either see the box, right? And it's very often skewed like this, 10s wider than 6s. Or we see the diamond. Today was a diamond game, okay? It was very much 3-1 build. And I think that makes sense, because you're playing against a team who's going to press with 2, and they played 5-3-2, and they also very, very, very much never sent the wingbacks. The wingbacks always stayed as 5. Always stayed as 5. So, like, it makes sense to 3-1, because let's say they go like this, which is how they often dealt with it. It leaves you free to get Palmer here. So, like, the action we saw a lot was, like, Colwill would narrow, and you'd get this pass. We saw this action a lot, that Chelsea would stay super narrow, and then when the 9s come from the outside, it's very easy to free Palmer in here with these two wider. We saw that a lot. What we saw in the second half, especially, that worked really well, I thought Chelsea had a very hard time dealing with it, is that Brentford pressed straight or even in to out instead of out to in. And then you have now, like, Tosin has the ball. What is Tosin going to do? Like, the guy's not breaking lines as a crazy passer. And so now when the ball goes here, you take away his ability to go outside, and then you go back to Sanchez, and it's a kick long. And that was the big thing in the second half. It was like Tosin didn't have the juice to break it down. And this is why we have seen so many times, over and over and over again, that that Maresca really tries to get Colwill to be the middle of the 3, because Colwill is unpressable in this position. He will dribble you. He can break lines. He can hit this pass to Palmer. He can hit Jackson. He can hit the wingers. He can hit him behind. He's unpressable. And that's we've seen so often why he's tried to get there. With Tosin, it's not the same. But there were trade-offs. Like, Tosin was excellent in the air defensively on dead balls. Like, he was so critical to Chelsea defending. I think it worked really well. Roshan Stresh, I think more often than not, we'll see a diamond against a back five. Maresca wants 6 attackers in that situation. Yeah, Maresca has talked about trying to be +1 on the last line all the time, right? So you go 6v5. This is the thing that Maresca has tried to say all the time. I don't know if I agree all the time, but I do think Chelsea did a good job of getting numbers into the box and getting shots off. Like, 20... Chelsea had 26 shots. That's our tied highest number of shots in a game this year. The other was Southampton, where you're up a player the whole game. Pretty nice. The quality of the shots was quite low. Like, there's a lot of blocks in there. There's a bunch from distance. Like, I don't love this one. 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 I certainly don't love this one. Like, there's a lot of just like, what are we doing here? That I think is a waste. But I think it worked pretty well in terms of build-up in the first half. Like, I thought Chelsea had zero problems getting into dangerous areas. Let's see what the McClockbot thing is saying, because I came on. I didn't pull it up. Let's see what we got here. Luca Tenerello, 3-1's very natural option against 5-3-2. This kind of 5-3-2. If the wingbacks are staying home to jam wingers, 3-1 gets around the 2 every time, and Palmer causes a conundrum for every team play. Yeah, 3-1 gets around the 2 every time if these 3 can play. But you can end up in situations like this, like something like this, where actually it's very difficult to play through now. And that was basically what happened in the second half. And they had quite a hard time to play through in the second half, I thought. But I do think it was more the defensive transitions than it was the build stuff. Like I think the passing stats are gonna be pretty good. Yeah, like quite high box entries, very high start distance. But look, like you can see, this is so funny. So I'm pretty sure this is blank. Could it just be fatigue? Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Is like it's 100% a fatigue thing. Part of it is tactical, but it's also a fatigue thing. I'm pretty sure Dimitri has this set up. So it's just like the highest possession value in each 1 minute chunk or 3 minute chunk or something like that. 1 minute chunk, I think. And like you can just see it. It's like it's all Chelsea, and then you fatigue. Well, it's like, here you go, subs. Like, it's hard, man. It's really hard. But like pretty nice. A lot of second ball wins for them. I thought Sancho had like a very, very, very good game from a box entry perspective again. 5 box entries is nice. I thought Nani was very frustrating because I think he could have had a much better game than he did have, if that makes sense. But it's pretty hard for me to be mad about, I don't even know, 1 million shots and 7 shots. Okay. And a bunch of shot assists. Like, it's 12 box touches. Pretty hard to be mad about that. Going through the team, I thought Sanchez was very good. I thought this was perhaps Marc Cucurella's best game of the season until he decides to take a red card after full time like an idiot. Genuinely super dumb, by the way. Like, actually a very frustrating and stupid thing to do. Just walk off the field. You're on a yellow card. Who cares? Colwell, I thought, had an excellent game. Excellent. His block in the first half was crazy. Excellent game. I thought Tosin was okay. Very good in the air, but just okay. A couple nice, like, decently worked set pieces. Actually, I'm curious what the set piece XG is. Not bad. Brentford are pretty good on set pieces. I can live with that. I thought Gusto wasn't great. I don't know what it is, man. He irks me. I just like wouldn't play. I would be very happy to make a sizable profit on him this summer. He's a good player, but I just don't. He doesn't move my needle very much. I thought Caicedo was very good today. The defensive metrics are going to like him. 2 tackles, 4 interceptions, 13 recoveries. Like, it's a lot. 3 out of 10 ground duels won. It feels fake news to me. But I thought he was very, very, very good. I thought Enzo Fernandez was not great. His worst game in a while. He particularly looked leggy, I thought. I think he particularly looked like he was not super active as a passer. Didn't really get himself into the box. Not a great Enzo game. Thought Sancho was really good. If he tries to dink the keeper with the outside of his right foot on that 1v1 chance, we feel way better about everything. Because he probably scores, and we feel and it's 2-0 much earlier, and like it's a way better game if that happens. But I thought Sancho was pretty good today. Like, I have no real complaints other than he should have been subbed off earlier. Not a great Palmer game, and it's pretty funny. This happens all the time. Not a great Palmer game, but if Sancho shoots that, it's like another 1xG game, 1xG plus XA game, which is pretty nuts. Yeah, not a great Palmer game. I find when Chelsea go 3 diamond, I don't think he's as good. I think he really needs that like right pocket to work, and I don't think he's as comfortable when he's very central. He also had there was that transition in the first half that Madueke should have slid him, or Sancho should have slid him, but tries to play Nani on the other side. I thought that was a pretty nice one. I don't know. It was just an okay game. Nani was fine. Very frustrating. Like, again, he puts up like a solid game, and every time I'm like, you could have done so much more. You could have done so much more. But I whatever. I thought Jackson was horrific. I thought this was one of his worst games. And he still took 7 shots. He put up a huge XG total. He scores a lovely goal. He just falls over in like an amazing chance that I have no idea how he doesn't get a shot off. And like huge metrics game. Like whatever. Even if I think this is going to come down to like 0.9 or something, because I think that miss is not that bad. It's bad, but it's not that bad. I thought Jackson was really poor. I thought his link-up wasn't great. I thought his decision-making... I thought he was so loath to get across the near post, which was really frustrating. We saw so many times this, right? We saw so many times that Nani would rinse his fullback, because he did. He had that Lewis Potter kid on toast. And we would see so many times... Palmer would lurk, Enzo would arrive, Caicedo would sit, Cucurella would get here, Sancho wouldn't get there, or whatever, and you end up like this. Like, this is the one where Chelsea ended up all the time. And what happens is, like, the action that has to happen here is you have to get here. You have to get right here every time. It does not matter. You have to get right here over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And half of the time it's going to hit you and go in. Look at Guiu. We've been calling him Gooey. Look at Gooey. Gooey is way worse than Jackson. He scores a goal that UEFA, that didn't hit him at all, but UEFA decided it's your goal because you did the work. He gets to the near post relentlessly. He's not that good. But he works to get to like there's real value there. I would he just has to get to that spot over and over and over and score these shitters at the near post. But not the worst Jackson game we've ever seen. Just I didn't think he was great. What else we got in here? 7 shots is crazy. Jackson being deeper than Palmer to link is pretty nuts. 15 progressive passes received by Madueke, 14 by Jackson is nice. Palmer, 11 progressive passes, pretty crazy. But Opta Analyst has us ahead of City for the title now. They have for a while. They have for a while. I'm curious how much this pops up. Probably not very much. I thought actually, like, all the drop points this weekend, that this might creep up to 10% this weekend, but we'll see. I don't think so, but it'll be cool. We're like whatever. We're at like not this now. We're at very high. Like, let's see, Chelsea top 4 odds. We were at 92% implied probability, and I bet you it's higher. Yeah, minus 1,500. What's that? What is it? Minus 1,500? Yeah, 94%. Yeah, 94%. It's like, yeah, Chelsea are very, very high. Felt like a Poch era game. I don't agree with that at all. Late maybe, but I don't think so. I thought it did not feel like a Poch game. The Poch game, I was actually looking back. So if you go to the year over year, like whatever, again, the differences are still tremendous. But I went back and I looked at the Brentford game, because this was not how I remembered this game at all. So I watched a highlight package for it. Chelsea were like pretty fine in that game. They concede like a nasty set piece. It's like Pinnock scores, and then Mbeumo puts one into an empty goal at the end. But Chelsea were like mostly fine, and some of it's game state. Like they're like breaking down a deep block, which like is ironic that people keep saying Chelsea can't break down deep blocks as they put up like huge XG4, pretty big XG4. Like Chelsea have rinsed low blocks. Huge XG4. Like Chelsea have destroyed low blocks all year. You can keep saying it, but like you cannot play a low block against Chelsea. They will wreck you. Big Sam said Poch would have had us doing as well this season. Thoughts? Maybe. Like, again, some of it is definitely player improvement, but like people say, like, look at the last 10 games. Chelsea won all these games. It was still way worse. Here are the last 10 games from last season. I have this still. Versus the first 10 from this season. Okay? It was way worse in every way. The only difference is you had a heater finishing run. You win against Bournemouth, negative XGD game. You win against Brighton, even game. You win against Forest, even game. You win by 5 in a 3 XG game. You win by 2 in an even game. You draw an even game. You lose 5-0. Like, you win 6-0, even-ish game. Like, it was not... We won a lot. Don't get me wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Like, that's a great record. But like, it was not better from anything we can measure at the end of last season. And it is entirely possible that Mauricio Pochettino with another preseason, it's very possible that that we would have had just as well. It's entirely possible. None of us can know. However, I do not think that the metrics suggest that. The shape of the metrics are quite different. And again, and Panna, I'm enjoying the periodic Seb C pops. Here's what I want to say. First off, Seb tweeted, but I keep getting sent them that like he has links to spreadsheets. He says things about spreadsheets in a bunch of his tweets. I don't care. That's fine. And like, we can disagree about soccer. Like there is a pantheon of opinions on this team. Like they are far from a clear picture, I think. It is totally fair to criticize some of the things this team does. They were totally unable to shut the game down against a team who have struggled away from home, that they dominated for 65 minutes. That's legitimately worthy of criticism. It is also absolutely true that Chelsea talk about control, and they do not, and their like most successful attacking moves are not control. Chelsea have been excellent in transition this year. The majority of their attacking juice has been the ability to turn and create transitional and semi-transitional moments, sometimes with the ball, often winning it, whether it's winning it high or winning it deep, and turning that into dangerous attacking movements. Like, Chelsea have been very good at accelerating their attack, much better, in my opinion, than last year. But they have been very good at accelerating their attack. All of those things are fine. It is totally reasonable to disagree about what you think about this team. What I do not think is reasonable is, like, when I show this sheet, right, there is not a whole lot of interpretation in this sheet. Like, the difference, or whatever, like, this is objective. This is a 30-game sample size, a 32-game sample size, 16 and 16. Like, you can say, to my eye, Chelsea are badly coached. And, like, fine, that's a fine opinion. But I can also say to you, well, by every measure we have, Chelsea's attack is better. By every measure we have, the defense is better. By every measure we have, they take more shots and they give up fewer. Like, these are metrics, right? And so unless you can come up with a convincing reason to me why actually no, in your 16-game sample, which is, like, fairly robust, the like, you're gonna have to be really compelling to say to me, like, actually no, this, like, big XG difference between the two, 2/3 of an expected goal, and this big goal difference, I don't know, man. Like, I need quite a lot of convincing that, like, actually this is all wrong. Seb saying we would be 10 points clear with Poch, Elise, and Duran. No, nobody would be. There's not enough games to be 10 points clear in 16. Like, it's not, no. I do think we would be much better with Elise and Duran, though. Imagine Elise in Maresca's spot, the things he would do. And imagine Duran coming off the bench and in games like this today. We like, in a world where instead of getting Felix, you get Omrodion or Duran, and instead of getting Neto, you get Elise, Chelsea are probably better off, right? Points-wise, almost, like, this is the thing, is if you look at the games Chelsea have played in terms of, like, drop points this year, do Chelsea not lose to Liverpool? Maybe, hard to say. Do Chelsea not draw United or Arsenal? Maybe, hard to say. The Palace game, that's probably a good example. The Forest game, that's probably a good example, right? Like, those are two I look at, and I'd be like, yeah, probably 4 points. Like, I could totally back that. But then it's like, when you're talking about coin flips, like, Chelsea win the Bournemouth game in a game they probably didn't deserve to win. Like, these things happen. There's a lot of noise to this. Yes, I think Chelsea would be better with Elise and Duran. That's objectively true. I also think it's objectively true that Chelsea are worse when Fofana doesn't play. Look at the goal they concede today. They would be much better off with his recovery pace in that specific match day. At the same time, Tosin was very good in the air, like, swings and roundabouts. I mean, I just don't, like, again, we're looking at a squad that's mostly the same as, it's basically the same team that's playing as last year. Different winger in Sancho over Mudryk. I don't think taking their seasons last year, like, that was an obvious, like, wow, Maresca gets to use Sancho instead of Mudryk. Like, I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't think Tosin, and, like, yes, Fofana is fit. That's a nice thing. And Nkunku is fit. Those are nice. James isn't fit still. Like, it's not that different a team. And yes, like, Jackson is probably a better player now. Palmer is probably a better player now. Like, those are all objectively true things. And again, like, I don't think all of these things are coaching. Like, I do not think all of these differences are coaching. I definitely do not think that. But I think some of them are. I think some of them are. Like, Chelsea are clearly better at set pieces this year. I know this is a thing, like, because Enzo hits the side of the net in the first half, but, like, Chelsea gave up very little on defensive set pieces today to a humongous team with a size advantage. Very, very, very little on set pieces today. They gave up very little on set pieces to Arsenal. Again, they didn't create a ton. I thought the attacking set pieces today were pretty poor. At the same time, like, they run two nice short routines that don't end up with in like great shots. We had the same thing with Gusto. Like, there's worlds where those end up in like a tap in the 6-yard box, or like a hitting someone in the 6-yard box for a high XG chance. But, like, I think it's pretty clear that Chelsea are better at the set pieces. And I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, look at the math, look at the numbers. Like, at some point, it's number bigger, that's good, or number smaller, that's good. Like, I don't even want me to say. This team definitely has its flaws, which is why I don't think we're actually realistic title contenders at this point, though. After 16 games, we're way past the late season purple patch from 2023-24. Again, and I showed it earlier, the purple patch was like mostly just hot finishing against teams all on the beach. On the beach, 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 relegated team. And you got killed in this game. Like, it was not that good. It's very buoyed by a 6-0 and a 5-0. Like, a 6-0 and a 5-0 in there. And, like, yes, it's a lot of wins, but again, Chelsea were not that good against teams on the beach. Nobody's on the beach yet. And Chelsea are still putting up very solid performances and wins. Like, very, very reasonable. And again, it's good. Like, objectively, Chelsea are winning games, which is nice, and whatever. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it, and I don't care. Do whatever you want. I genuinely feel like Maresca didn't even attempt a single cross under Poch, but now it's an actual opener's game. Is it something you can attribute to Maresca or just individual development? I don't know. Maresca was like pretty crossy in Holland. I think that's just like a thing. I do think him like driving to the right is maybe an instructed behavior. I'm pretty curious about that. Southampton might be on the beach already because they're in an absolute state, mate. Southampton are in the gulag. They're in prison, and they're not coming back out. Just give every team 3 points against them the rest of the way, and just send them home. Let them take the year off. That team is awful. And honestly, this is going to sound so crazy. Russell Martin deserves to be fired. He's not doing a good job. You cannot leave. This guy left early in the first half to go shut up his whiteboard at halftime, and they conceded again. He subbed off Kamaldeen Sulemana at 15 minutes. Like, yeah, your attacker is totally why you're 3-0 down after 12 minutes. So, like, let's put that aside. He deserves to be turbo fired. Their team is also objectively horrible. Look at this lineup, bro. Awful. 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 Okay. Not great. Okay. Awful. Okay, but can't defend. Very good player. Very good player. But he's 11 years old. Doesn't move me. Doesn't move me. Look at the subs. No, thank you. Like, what is he? Like, the team stinks. It's not all his fault. The team stinks. So that is what it is. But yeah. Wow, nice to see Josh on the bench. I have a weird feeling he plays a bigger part this season than we all originally expected. It's totally possible, man. Like, I was very happy to see the bench today, the way it was. I would have liked to see them come on. And I hope they all start against Shamrock Rovers. Like, I hope, like, Felix doesn't come back in and, like, whatever. I hope they all start. Because they earned it. Like, that Astana game was hard. Like, they're better than... That Astana team is probably better than Noah. And they went and, like, did a tough job in a difficult environment. Like, good for them. They earn, like, the fun of playing Shamrock Rovers at home, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at on that one. I think what is happening is people are expecting too much from a team that is predicted to finish below the top six this season. I know not from you, Kier, manager who's 2 years into coaching. Yeah, I mean, I've said this a few times that I think those projections were too low. The betting markets were like pretty firm that Chelsea were the fourth best team. In that there was a gap, the big three, and then Chelsea were definitely the best of the rest. So like I don't think that's I don't know about that, but I do think like there's a certain amount of like, why aren't the set pieces better? Man, it's been 4 months. Like if like do the math on training time. Even if he has an hour a week, so you say he gets 15 minutes of set piece sessions every day or 4 days a week or whatever. So he's getting an hour a week. That's 20 hours. What, you're going to fix a whole team in 20 hours? Like, to give you a reference for this, okay? 2 years ago, not this summer, last summer, not the summer that just happened, the summer before that, the semi-pro team that I coached, we won the league title. We went to the national championship. We lost the national championship, but we were like a sufferball transition counter set piece team, and we were like plus 17 in a 24 game season on set piece goals. We won the final off of a long throw in the 90+6 to equalize, and then a long free kick from the halfway line, like 110th minute to win the game. Like, this is what we were. But that was not like, oh, we just started doing set pieces. That was like we'd been working with those players for 4 years. And every year we got better at set pieces. The first year we were like pretty bad. And then we were like, we really need to focus on this. The second year was like a real focus. And we went from like bad to even. And then the third year we went from even to like plus 10 goals on the season. And then the fourth year we were like plus 17 goals on set pieces. Like, these things take time. It's the same thing with Arsenal. Nicholas Jover's been at Arsenal for years. I think this is his third year. And you look, every year they get better at set pieces. It takes time to teach these things. At the same time, it takes time to instill ideas. And like, this is why I say it's totally possible that maybe with Poch, this team would be doing this well. It's totally possible that with more time, and like the culture is there and you instill the ideas and it's entirely possible this team could have gotten better. I think Poch is a good coach. I don't think he did an amazing job at Chelsea. I think based on everything we know, he did not. What we saw was not an amazing job. It was like probably about the level of the talent. Maybe a little worse. And probably a little bit unlucky. They were about the fourth best team last year. They come sixth because of some quite unlucky results early in the season. Right, you can go back and look at Forest and whatever and all those games that Chelsea definitely played well enough to win and didn't win. It happens. But these things take time. Like, it's not... And you have good players. And the hardest thing is winning enough while taking time. And, like, right now, Chelsea are winning enough that they're going to get the time to do what they want. And this, I think, is, like, a big thing with... a big thing in general. Like, I was talking with some people about what are Chelsea going to do in January? Like, are Chelsea going to do anything? And also, are you going to do anything in the summer? Like, what do you do next? Like, do you bring Andre back and move Dewsbury Hall out in January? Like, what do you do? And like, I am of the opinion, the same as I was last summer, I would do very little. I would get the bruiser, target man, attack the front post 9. I'd get that as a sub guy. And you can be pretty flexible with that profile. And, like, that guy does not have to be a U24 peak age starter level player. Like, you can go get a 29-year-old backup who's going to do the job for 2 years or 3 years, and then you're going to let him leave for free. And he's going to play 1,200 minutes a season, all as a sub, and it's fine. Like, I think there's value there. And, like, I am defensive midfielder curious. But, like, if you bring Andre back, that's fine by me. I might be on the lookout if there's, like, any real bargains. Like, if Milan were, like, we really want to get rid of Rafael Leao. I really want out. Like, that might be something I think about. I don't like him like that. Notwithstanding, I think he's too turnover prone and he doesn't defend. But, like, maybe that's one you think about. Or whatever. A right-footed center back. Like, I would probably look to consolidate Disasi and Tosin into one guy who's better than both. Like, that's probably something I would look to do. But I'm not itching to do any of these things because I kind of want to give this team a little bit of time to see what it is. And maybe that's foolish of me, right? Like, Daryl Morey has a thing that if you have 5% championship equity, you should go all in. And, like, Chelsea, if you look at I can pull it up, like, looks like 5% championship equity to me. Maybe you should go all in. I'm not there. Like, this team is young enough, and there's enough interesting talent coming through next year that I might just sit on it. I might do the moves I need to do financially in terms of getting guys like Cassidy and Dewsbury Hall off the books. Like, Dewsbury Hall is that's a disaster signing, but I would be much more focused on outgoings than incomings, right? Like, it is what it is. Let's see. What did I miss while I was, like, eulogizing? Doing a marginally better job than Gary O'Neill only because the Wolves team is so much better. 100% should be sacked. Yeah, Gary O'Neill got fired today, so we'll see. But also, Gary O'Neill, like, his players were fighting his coaches on the field after games. Like, that was an untenable situation. Thomas Wilkinson. Between the Thomas Frank idea of shifting tactics to become more defensive when coming up to the Prem versus Kieran McKenna or Russell Martin keeping the same tactic, what do you think works better? So I don't think Kieran McKenna has kept the same tactic. I think he's been actually very clever about like, we're going to play mostly the same way, but we're not going to be really stupid. They just don't have that much talent. But they just don't have that much talent. Like, they're just not that good a team. And there's some, like, pretty big XG blowouts in here. Like, if you look at their match logs, like, you have, like, a drilling by West Ham, a drilling by Bournemouth, drilling by City, drilling by Liverpool. And it's like, okay, they're much drilling by Brentford. They're way worse than the teams who are way better than them. But, like, Spurs even. You play United even. You play Wolves even. You play Everton even. You play Villa even. You play Fulham even. Like, these are real. That's, like, fine. I think there's, like, I don't think they're great. I think they'll probably still go down based on where they are. But, like, their business was also very skewed to, like, let's buy younger dudes who are really quite good. And let's go from there. Like, getting Omari permanently for them is, like, for $20 million. And, like, Omari, I think, has been pretty poor. I was, like, not super mad about that sale. Like, I think there's like, options for them, but I don't think that's the worst. But I think the difference between Frank is that the thing that Brentford did was that they were a heavy possession team in the championship, but they were also a very good transition team. Like, they were a very good press and counter team as well. And because they were so big and so good on set pieces and like, they were pretty good at like, skewing towards, like, okay, well, we'll become a press counter transition set piece team. And, like, we'll understand that, like, the possession stuff will come later as we build. Where, like, Brentford last season hit the way you know that Brentford were super successful is that Brentford have been, like, basically a league average team every single year, hit an ultra unlucky season where they finish 11 goals behind their expected goal difference. Super unlucky. They have a terrible defensive year for them. Like, they were not great. Normally they're better than this. And they have this like, terrible year, and they're still comfortably avoiding relegation. Not even close. Like, that's how you know they're fine. I really rate Thomas Frank as a coach. Like, I think it's pretty fun that they're, the final two were Frank or Maresca. Like, I think Chelsea would have been fine with both. To shift it back to Chelsea talk, like, I think Chelsea would have been fine with both. I think the look would be very different. Like, I think Thomas Frank would be the team would look better defensively, but not as good in possession. But I think he would have been totally fine. João Felix and Romeo Lavia back for Everton. That's nice to hear. I still don't believe that it's a hamstring, by the way. I assume it's concussion protocol. Because there's no way it's a hamstring and he's back in 2 weeks. But if it's a concussion, it's totally reasonable that it took him that many days to go through the protocol. Because the protocol is quite lengthy. Like, to me, I don't know why he wouldn't just say it's a concussion, but clearly it was a concussion. Do we know what happened to Felix? Injury related? I don't know. Callum Walsh. Okay, I want to talk about this because a few people have like mentioned it. Thomas Wilkinson said Brentford's prem transfer has been kind of rubbish. I do want to talk about this just very briefly. And then, Callum, I'm going to answer your question about Jackson as a winger. The short answer is I don't like it. Yeah, Brentford have done some weird ones. Like, I have no idea what these two deals are. I like the Magoma get. Igor Thiago, I don't see. He, I think, was not that good at Bruges. And I was watching a lot of Belgium. He was good, right? Like, this is a lot to like, but there were a lot of penalties in there, and like Belgium, I think, is not a very smooth transition, and like, I don't know, that's a big fee for somebody you'd want to be more sure of, if you know what I mean. Igor Thiago was injured today, that's why he didn't play. But like, yeah, not one that I was like super into in general. But I think their transfers have been like pretty low risk in general. Like, Collins is pretty good. The Shada one I didn't like either. Flecken I quite liked. But like mostly like low gambles for them. And that's fine, I think. But yeah, like not my favorite set of deals. I do think they're like waiting to hit on the next big guy, but for them, like, it's hard because Mbeumo and Wissa play so much. Like, you are in a weird spot, right? Like, you have to you need the people to play, but you can't like not play those guys. I don't know. We'll see. Damsgaard, I think, has been way better this year, though. Like, that's a fun one. I don't know. We'll see. I suspect we'll see like some bigger sales in the next couple years and go from there. What are your favorite leagues for transition to the Premier League? Spain and France. Okay, so have you spoken about Jackson playing with striker like Durant? Jackson at left wing potential. So the way Chelsea played their wingers last year, I would say yes. This year, where's this? So like, okay, let's just like hypothetically, team that defends 4-2-3-1, right? Because Brentford not that many teams are playing a back three in the Premier League this year. It's not super common. You end up with like something like this. Let's just pretend. So you have teams that defend like 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, something like that. Pretend Sancho is like Duran. Just pretend for me. So you end up, if Jackson is wide, right, like full winger width, I don't think he is secure enough in possession to do the numbers. I don't think he's secure enough to like do the keep the ball around the box thing. And I think the thing that Jackson does super well, like his biggest strength, like he's not great in the box. The thing that Jackson does extremely well is when he comes off of a center back, he is wildly dangerous for two reasons. One, if he gets this ball, he can turn and drive and create, and he's a very, very good passer. Not in like the technical execution of his like outside the foot through balls to Palmer, like the one he tried today, are so good, but more in that like he has a very like Hollandy-ish, like Erling Haaland is not an amazing passer, but he's a great passer in terms of the decisions he makes around the box. Jackson is a very similar quality. He makes very, very good decisions in the final third as a passer and in transition as a passer. Like he is very good about when do I go all the way wide versus when do I play my nearer guy. I think he makes excellent decisions. And I think when you take him off ball more by playing him wider, you hurt that a lot. I also like don't think Duran is great. Like I think he's mostly just a really hot finisher. Like I like Duran. I like Duran a lot. I really like not to like pump my kudos or whatever, but like I was talking about Duran when he played for Chicago. I was like, oh, this guy's really good when he played in MLS. But like he's just finishing hot. Like yes, he's good. Objectively good, but I'm not itching to start this guy a million games. You know what I mean? So like I get it, but like I wouldn't be super into that. But I do think when we're talking specifically about Jackson, I think if you move Jackson wide the way we use our wingers, it's a bit of a waste. I think something I would be like kind of curious about is what if you had Jackson be one of the wingers that goes narrow? Like if it was like this. Well, like this. So again, whatever, this is a striker and your winger goes narrow and he's like a 10. I would be super curious about that. Like I would be very curious to see Jackson half-turn pockets drive, but also he's arriving because he's so close. I would be super, super, super curious about that. And seeing, okay, Mr. Jackson, can you arrive from central locations? But I don't think I'm itching to do it. I think he's not great between lines, like as a turner. He's better when like he can roll a center back and stuff like that. But this could intrigue me. Like I think what you're saying needs to be a good inside forward. Yeah, inside forward for sure. Inside forward, I think, is like more true. And I'd be curious to see it. But I honestly, like, between playing Jackson here and like going and signing a Bruiser 9 versus playing Jackson here and playing Felix or Nkunku more, I think I would just rather do that than go get a Bruiser 9, if that makes sense. I think that's a particularly interesting one. Would also be interested to see Jackson arriving at the back post. Yeah, for sure. That I think would be one of the valuable things about here is like he would be pretty relentless about getting here for tap-ins, I think. Like there's a world I could see him being Sadio Mane-ish. I think he's like good enough physically you don't have to do that, but I could see it. I could see it. Right center back that can run. Wassa, Brazil is good too. Someone did the numbers on expected threat drop off 2 or 3 years ago or something, and Brazil ranked 3rd or 4th in the least drop off. I would be surprised by that. Like there will be comparatively very few Brazilian transfers. Like the signal on that's going to be pretty weird. Like I'm trying to think actually who even came and had a real minutes backlog in Brazil to compare to and then had real minutes in the Premier League right away. It's like Oscar. Like it's older guys. Like it's not going to be who is the center back for Arsenal? The rubbish one. Pablo Mari. Like I don't know. That is surprising to me. I'd be curious about that one. Gabby Jesus, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. He had a solid one. Yeah, there's probably a few other guys, but I don't know. I don't think there's that many. Uh, he's pretty good at his center back matches, so I worry where a fullback might shut him down. Bad Rabbits. And Bad Rabbits, I saw you couldn't get tickets today. I would actually love to hear, are the local folks, Pablo Mari came from Spain? I don't think so. I think Pablo Mari came from Brazil. Not even close. Maybe it's not Pablo Mari. Maybe that's not who I'm thinking of. He was at Man City. No, he did come from Brazil. Flamengo. I was right. Go me. He's Spanish, but he came from Brazil. I would actually love to hear. I would love to hear from like locals. Because the match tonight look packed to the brim. And I know it's a night kickoff, and night kickoffs generally do well. But is it? I don't know. Is the atmosphere like popping? Because it feels like it's popping. And I don't know. Is it harder to get tickets? Like I am currently debating going for the last match day of the season away to Forest. I didn't use enough vacation days, so I'm debating it. Since you spoke about Nkunku, Giovanni Dettori, since you spoke about Nkunku, I still don't understand why we haven't tried him and Palmer 10 with an overlapping left back. Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't like Nkunku as a 10. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't know if it's like a Nkunku only wants to play as a 9 thing. Totally possible. Like that is more common than you think. The players are like, I only want to play as a striker. I don't know. But I do think it's kind of weird. And I didn't think there was much chance. I would have been surprised if Nkunku moved in the next summer, but I'm getting less surprised by that if it happens. We'll see. Christmas and like the second half of the season is going to be very weird because if we go to Chelsea fixtures, right? Like, okay, you can rotate, play. Like Nkunku will play here, but then it's like one game, play maybe. He'll probably play Morecambe, but not against Bournemouth. And then after that, it's like one game, 2 games, and then Conference League, and there's more FA Cup games. But it's like if he's just going to play all of that, I don't know. He's always played as a connector 10 with a wall 9 at Leipzig. That is not how he played at Leipzig. Nkunku at Leipzig was a depth stretching 9. I think people have this like image that he was a second striker because he played with another big guy. But like Nkunku was a depth, like Timo Werner style striker at Leipzig. Like if you go back the last season, there's more 10 minutes. But it's like he just made a million runs in behind. Like he was definitely not. Like if you go look at some of these teams, like he's playing with Poulsen or Werner, but like this is not a wall 9. This is like legit just 2 strikers. If I go like, let's go to the previous one. Here's them beating Bayern. And he's playing with Andre Silva. Like that's not a wall 9. That's another depth stretcher. I think the depth stretcher now is more Poulsen. No, like not really. Like it was like, yes, there were other people to occupy, and yes, he did some between the lines work, but like the big thing with Nkunku was like like it's the same thing that happened with Havertz, where people were like, Havertz is this 10. He wasn't. He was just a fucking striker. Like 80% of Havertz's good games for Leverkusen was a straight up 9. It's tough. Like he was way more strikery than people remember. Like if you go look at like I wonder if I can do this. If I can go look at like let's go here. Like this is just a super strikery profile. It's a lot of shots. It's not a lot of shots created. It's I'm the dude who runs behind. Decent progressive passing. Pretty good creative stuff for a striker. But it's like I'm a striker runs behind. Like look at the progressive passes received. Like I'm running behind all the time. So that I think was like a real thing. And so I don't know, maybe like Maresca has said that he thinks he's best as a 10. Lots of people have said that. I think I don't think most Premier League games he's a 9. But I really want to see him in that pocket. I think there's a tremendous amount of value for him there. Why do you think we never see Maresca have Palmer out wide? Because he's better inside. And again, it's the same thing. Like the wingers are asked to retain the ball and keep Chelsea in the final third and attempt 1v1s and high probability box entries. Like the wingers are not asked to take risks. These players are asked to take risks. And Palmer is a player you want taking risks. It's an interesting opinion. I see him as a between-the-line shot creator. He is a between-the-line shot creator. I agree that is his best role. I'm saying at Leipzig, that was not what he was. He was very much a depth stretcher, as much as probably quite a bit more than between the lines. Like, go watch his goals, all the Nkunku goals. It's just all runs in behind. His early time at Leipzig, he had insane progressive carries and creative numbers, was also a much better presser then. Yeah, there's a Leipzig thing, though, with the pressing that you have to be careful about, where because the team is so good at pressing, even their worst pressers look really good defensively. Like Timo Werner had amazing pressing numbers, but then you watch and you're like, actually, he's definitely the worst presser in the team. And then when he goes to your team, it doesn't work. It was the same thing with Ziyech, where like the Ajax team that Ziyech played for was an amazing pressing team, and he was the worst presser on the team. And so you end up with this team of like Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, whatever, and like only Havertz can press, and the other two guys like press, and it doesn't work. So that I think is like a real thing. What do I want to talk about? Yeah, that's why Palmer's not wide. Kier, thoughts on Maresca making Enzo a half-space runner and a box crasher? Yeah, it's not the role that I would pick for him. Like, I think he's still better deeper. But I actually quite like when it's the diamond because he has much more flexibility to come deep and start stuff and to arrive. But I really dislike when he starts high. That I don't like. But I've actually quite enjoyed these actions where it's a slip for him. I think there's a lot of value in that. Maybe not for him all the time, but I think that it's a nice action that works. That works for them. But I'd like to see him. It wasn't an issue today, but there are other games where like I would not hate seeing this. But it's hard. Like you do this and then if you turn the ball over on this side of the pitch, like you're cooked in transition. So like I get it. I understand why the team is set up the way it is. But that's kind of my thing. Batter ups. Local folks can get anything because of loyalty points to Rough. Can only buy from third party. Away is better. Yeah, that's tough. That's like I don't know. I always had to like get one on the exchange when the time I went. Or you got to like know somebody who knows someone who's not going. You know what I mean? But it's hard. Like Stamford Bridge isn't that big, but it's cool. It's to me it's like a good thing that tickets are hard to get because it means people want to go and it means people like the team. Because I remember people saying under Tuchel, the team was probably a little bit better than this team. But it was way easier to get tickets because people didn't like the team, which I think matters. Do I see a long-term future for Achimpong at center back or right center back or right back? Yeah, I think Achimpong's very good. I thought against Astana he was by far the best kid. He has a very unique blend of physical and technical talent. He is so like that winger. Kamara on Astana, who was on his side, was in hell, in the gulag. Like he was not. Josh was taking long balls in the guy's face on his chest. Just like, pop, bring it down, see you later. And he's so long and he's so good on the ball as a dribbler. It's very hard to deal with. Like, I think there's a real... I think he could probably play like the right back, right center back role right now and not stand out negatively, which is huge for an 18-year-old. Like, that's crazy. I really like Josh. Like, I would play him. This is nuts, but I would play him ahead of Gusto in this role and not be super mad about it. Certainly, like, if I pull up the upcoming matches, like, definitely Shamrock Rovers, definitely Morecambe, and like wouldn't be mad about a sub appearance in here, or like if Ipswich ends up being a comfortable game, like say you're 3-0 up or something, like knock on wood, we don't know. Like, I would love to be like, yeah, give him 45 minutes second half. So we'll see, like we'll see about that one. Yeah, I think Josh will play. Thoughts on Tosin? Do you think we can see more consistent minutes from him? Was Tosin too rash for the goal today? I think Tosin started because... Oh, Russell Martin's gone. Russell Martin is gone. Is he? Oh, the difficult decision. Was it difficult? What is... Let me go see the post-match presser. Maresca doesn't trust anyone other than Lavia, Caicedo, or Enzo in real games, which is a problem since Lavia is always injured. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. On Fans Dream, you can talk about the title, and fans can dream about the title. If you ask me, I'll tell you what I think. For me, we're not ready, but we're happy the fans can dream. On why Chelsea are not in the title race. For sure, the goal we conceded. Oh, and Frank just got a job. Southampton wouldn't hire Frank Lampard, I don't think. Only the man, the myth, legend, Steve Cooper can save them now. Steve Cooper works for Leicester. Oh no, he got sacked by Leicester. Maybe. Get Big Sam out. I'll always remember where I was. It was like when JFK got shot. Carney was ill, Chile was ill, Pedro suspended, Reese and West injured, Benoit felt something. This is the situation. Misha. I don't know what "and Misha" means. I don't know what "and Misha" means. I don't know what "and Misha" means. That is... Look, he's not English first language. I don't want to read too much into him not being mentioned in the ills and not being mentioned in the injureds. But "and Misha." What does he mean by that? That's interesting. On Frank's comments on Cucurella. It's Frank's opinion, not mine. I have nothing to say. Cucurella was top on and off the ball together with the other 10. We're delayed with Mark's performance today. Moyes. All right, here's IT Kier. You get some free IT Kier game. David Moyes has been interviewing for MLS jobs. I don't think Moyes is going to get a Premier League job, but Moyes has been interviewing for MLS jobs. People were speculating that João missed his match because he refused to go to Astana. If so, rate Maresca for that. I don't believe that. I bet he just has a knock. But and also, like, João Felix does not seem like the kind of guy to refuse to play a match anywhere. That guy seems like he loves to play. But yeah, no matter how many games we win, I think we're not ready. For adopting an aggressive attitude. It's a great yellow card. What did Thomas Frank say about Cucurella? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Where's Mark R stats at? Nope. Mark stats. Let's see the Chelsea one. Do, 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 do. Same old Chelsea, always cheating. I love that song, by the way. Every time the opposition fans sing "Same Old Chelsea, Always Cheating," it makes me so happy. I know they just hired Mascherano, but Messi under Moyes would be cinema. No, I don't think so. Frank said that Cucurella went down easy and that he doesn't like it. Okay. Sure. Actually, expected threat like Chelsea a lot more. That's not surprising. Big field tilt. Yeah, like you're pretty happy with that. It's funny how like nothing this is, and then it's like big, 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 big. What do we got here? Madueke keeps popping up in the progressive pass stuff. I should probably dig into this at some point because he now that's like a few in a row. I wonder. So how many did he have today? Let's see. Mr. Gusto. Where's the passes? 13 passes in the final third is crazy. These are really decent passing numbers. This is much better than I was expecting. Makes you think he's gonna rack up. I do think a lot of this is just like passing it to the winger on his side, and because the other team have to defend narrow because Chelsea have so many players central, like you just get free progressive passes out wide. Which, by the way, here's your nerd stats rant. 2 years ago, FBref changed the definition of what a progressive pass was. It used to be 10 yards towards the goal, I think, or some like yardage number towards the goal. And now it is 10 yards to the goal line. So if you pass the ball up the sideline towards the corner flag, doesn't matter. It's a progressive pass. It's the dumbest thing ever. It is not how players and teams think about progression, despite the fact that it is technically still progressing the ball forward. No, you're progressing the ball towards the goal, not towards the goal line. It's stupid. I hate it. And Malo Gusto is getting free progressive passes by passing it to Nani to do nothing. Anyways, that's the thing that I don't like. Is that not because he's the free man loads, though? It would. That's why he's going to get progressive passes received, but him actually creating out of that spot is pretty good. And the last couple games, he's been the deeper guy, like Tottenham and Southampton. So, I don't know. Tyreek Mitchell's out of contract end of year. Any thoughts on going for him? Nope. Don't like him. Doesn't do enough for me in either. Well, really going forward. He feels like Wan-Bissaka adjacent-ish. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. Will you give a short analysis on what you thought of the Cobham youngsters against Asana because we got no pod? Also, Carney's Chelsea career is absolutely over. Sure. Yeah, I didn't do a pod because I'm lazy. No, because the game was early in the morning, so I watched it before work, and then I went to work, and then I came home, and I was like, I do not have enough thoughts about that game. First off, thought number one. I like Guiu, man. I really do. He does a lot of things very well for a scrubby child. I think if you give him a loan in Belgium or Holland or Italy, he'll cook. He'll be really good. Like, actually, I would be very Strasbourg curious for him next year. Even January, maybe January. But I'd be super curious to see. Super curious to see Guiu get a loan. He's like, I think there's a player there. Not now, but eventually, I think there's a real player there. I thought George was really good. He takes so many shots, and I love it. He created really, really well. A thing I hated was that Carney is I so deeply dislike Carney Chukwuemeka as a player. I have zero interest in anything he does. He sat on Tyree George's lap the whole game and ruined every attacking action he got. And as soon as he goes off the pitch, Tyree George creates 2 amazing chances immediately. He was legitimately embarrassing defensively in this game. Like, I have zero interest. Please leave and never come back. I have no time for it. That I just like that was like an aggressively negative rant, but it was super frustrating to watch him like ball hog and try and dribble through 8 guys and take terrible shots from like awful angles and nowhere, doing nothing. It was very frustrating. I did not enjoy that Carney Chukwuemeka performance at all. And yeah, as whoever asked that said, like, I think it was Thomas Wilkinson. Yeah, I don't want to see him again. Go and I don't care where he goes in January. Do whatever you want. Chelsea really tried to find him alone in the summer. He got offered to a bunch of like think Europa level like smaller nation teams, like best team in a small league. But nobody wants to pay him because he makes real money and he's crocked. He can't play twice a week. He can't really play 90s. He doesn't defend. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't like. For him in that game against that team, like he should be destroying that game, and he was not good. Same with Dewsbury Hall, who I thought was also not very good. The Neto was fine. I thought Rexaki had a kind of rough first like 20 minutes and then settled a lot. And I thought Achimpong was very good. I was surprised Atoampa came on, and I didn't think he was great. I thought Harvey Vale was very good when he came on. I thought Shimuka was very good. I thought Keanu Dyer, we saw very few minutes. Actually, Friday, they had their Youth Cup game against Leicester. They came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 in what was like an insane game, but Shim and Keanu Dyer were very good in that game. It was fun, though. Like, I think, look, like, some people were really negative about that game and that there were so many kids playing. Like, oh, the first teamers don't want to go to Kazakhstan, blah, 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 blah. And, like, I don't know. Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, opportunities come when they come. Like, I really don't think you can be super picky about 90 for Tyreek and 90 for Josh and 90 for Rexaki and debuts for Atoampa and debuts for, like, I don't think you can really be too picky about that. I think that's a pretty cool thing. And I think, like, that game in general, that was a cool experience. I don't know if any of you guys listened to the Straight Out of Cobham episode that there was. They talked about Lucy, the producer, like, interviewed a bunch of people who were at the game, and it's like, you have guys who traveled from Mongolia that have been listening to the games on the radio since the 70s, and it's the first time they've ever got to see Chelsea because it's the furthest east they've ever played. Like, that's so cool. That's such an overwhelmingly positive, amazing thing. The same with, like Sam, CFC Central, like, got to cover the game for London is Blue because for him from India to get to Kazakhstan is way easier. That's awesome. That's such a cool experience. And you have, like, the Kazakh fans who are there, and, like, it's a cool... It's a very, very... I don't know. I thought it was, like, a cool... The game is whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, Chelsea didn't play great. Whatever. Astana scored a nice goal. Sick. Sam was on the Straight Outta Compton thing as well. It was really cool. Like, that was I don't know. Like, I find it very difficult to come away with any negative feelings other than whatever. Apparently, I was very negative on Carney, but as a spectacle, like, pretty cool. I like it. And I hope Shamrock Rovers, we see more kids. I hope we see lots of kids in that game as well. In some of the training footage, Keanu looks very lightweight, even considering his age. Yeah, he's small. But he's like so shifty. Like, I think it's worth giving him like controlled looks over time to see him. Kadar, what's happening with Kellyman kid we got for 20 million? Like, is he nowhere near good enough to even make the bench for a game like this? He is on his way back from injury. The plan is allegedly for him to get a loan in January. That's the reporting. He has like a pretty solid PL2 background. Nothing spectacular. I don't know. Like, he feels like one who might go to like Lampard's Coventry maybe. But we'll see. Again, it's like that was a Pluvalenza deal. Like, it is what it is. But we'll see. Like, I'm not paying super close attention to him. In terms of like academy kids that I'm like actually paying a decent amount of attention to, it's Josh and it's Tyreek and it's Keanu and it's Shim. That's like the whole group. OREC 101 watching the stream from India at 4 a.m. Let's go, bro. I love that. You should probably go to sleep though, because it's a school day tomorrow. So you should probably go to sleep or a work day. But I don't know. You do you. If the kids can win versus Stana, then they should eat Shamrock or alive. Yeah. And to be honest, like, I don't want to see Carney in that game. I don't really want to see Disbury Hall in that game. I don't want to see Neto. But I don't know. Give Rex Saki some love too. I'm like, I think he's fine. I don't feel. It is a cool name. It is a cool name. I don't feel very strongly about him as a prospect. But again, I was telling Chelsea Youth this, like, as I've gotten older, have had like way less bandwidth to follow and watch the academy teams. And so, like, I was very much under the opinion the academy teams are worse than they were when I followed, which is like, as a teenager, like I'm like a similar age to like Ruben and those guys. So like when I was a teenager, they were coming through. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm seeing like these guys are so sick. Like, oh my God, what a group. And I watched like most of the games. And then now, like, they don't have as many Youth Cup finals for whatever reason, or like as many big games. And you're like, well, maybe they're just like not as good. And I watched the Youth Cup game on Friday, and they're really good. Like, that was a super high level game. There was a lot of talent on the field. There's a center back. I'm gonna move it because I don't want to open my DMs, but I'm gonna find it. There's a center back. What's his name? Tayo Subaloye. Okay. Tayo Subaloye is the center back that played in that game and was insane. He was playing entry passes like nobody's business that I was like, oh, you're nasty. And I've never even heard his name. I've never even heard his name before. And like, that guy just plays in the academy. He's just a dude in the academy. So like, there's real talent there. Like, if you have the time, like, watch the academy games, because I was so impressed with that game. And I thought he was excellent. I thought Keanu between lines was so good. I thought Shim is like just oppressive. Shim has like the something about him reminds me very much of Islam Feruz. If you guys remember Islam Feruz, which is like real throwback name, where he's like so like stocky, like he can really do it. Was he the one hitting entry passes to Shim? Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah, the right center back who just zink, just like line breakers over and over and over on the ground. Not a single bobble. Yeah, no youth league has been a big one. Cal Mulch, any thoughts on Ish, Samuel Smith? I'm like less of an Ish guy, but again, it's the same thing. Like, I just haven't seen that much of him. But what I have seen, I'm not blown away. I'm not blown away by him. But other people who are smart and who's like player eval I trust, like Seb, really like him. Really like him. But I think his profile of like left back, left center back, left wing back type is not. I think it's going to be quite difficult for him to really break through here. So we'll see. We'll see on that front. Islam Ferre's big throwback, yeah. Yeah, that was there were some like that's like to give you the sense, that's my time. Izzy Brown, Islam Feruz, Isaac Suin Cambo, Charlie Colkett. There's another striker, another like small, stocky striker who I liked around then. The name I have in my head is Tierno Ballo, but it wasn't Tierno Ballo. It was before him. Around the same time as Ferruz, though. Casey Palmer. Casey Palmer was fun. Josh McEachran. Josh McEachran was like before I watched Academy games. I was too young for that when he was breaking through. I like obviously watched the first team games, but I wasn't really watching Academy games back then. But yeah, that Casey Palmer group was really good. And Izzy Brown's retired now, which is pretty crazy from all the injuries. Jordan Houghton. Jordan Houghton renovates houses now. No, not Ike Ugbo. Not Ike Ugbo. Ike Ugbo's Canadian, which is cool. He's tangentially Canadian though. He lived in Canada for 2 years or something ridiculous. Jamal Blackman, he was an MLS for a bit. No, it's a striker. Hit me with striker names from that era, and if it comes up, I'll say it. Luca Tenerell, Izzy Brown retired. Yeah, Izzy Brown retired last year because of injuries. 5.5%. We on the come up, 95%. It's a lot of points between us and Villa. It's a lot of points. They're actually Villa are Villa at this point. No, obviously not Dom Solanke. I know Dom Solanke. No, it was a small black striker, like Ferruz, but not Ferruz. Let me. Chelsea U21s 2014. Let's see. We'll find it. This is peak guy remembering. Jamal Billy, I don't remember this guy. I loved Ola Aina. ZZZ, what were your thoughts on Ola Aina? I really wanted Chelsea to bring Ola Aina back when he went to Forest, when he was at Torino. Because I was this guy's a super competent fullback who can play both sides and play wing back and play center back and has a long throw. This guy's a no-brainer squad player for $7 million or something. And it never happened, obviously. But I thought he was totally that guy. Alex Kawomia, that's a throwback. Not who I was thinking of. Martel Taylor Crossdale, maybe. Martel Taylor. He was the one who went to Fulham, right? Yeah, I think it is him. I think it is Martel Taylor Crossdale. But he wasn't stocky. I don't know. They had a lot of goals at that time. They had a lot of dudes. Yeah, Izzy Ferruz. That's a throwback name. I wonder what he's doing now. Let's see. Oh, without a club. How sad. He spent a month at Rudnički in Serbia. Wait, he had nobody after Chelsea? Really? He went to one club and then retired? I find that hard to believe. Sepp Acosta for Aina plus money, one of the greatest injustices in history. As I said in a previous stream, Manaja la miseria. Who is the guy at HSV now? Where? Miro Muheim. That's just his last club. I don't think he's there now. Or Hamburger. Oh, he is. All right. Miro Muheim. Good for you, dude. Still playing. Bundesliga 2, 16 appearances. All right. Yeah. Charlie Wakefield. I always hated this guy. I always thought he stank. I don't know why. Off topic, but Anselmino is on his 4th hamstring injury. That's concerning. Yeah, the Anselmino one is lottery ticket, which I don't really know why we bought. I was not super impressed by his video when I watched it. In April 2020, it's reported that Ferris had given up football to set up a company selling designer caps. No way. He was released in 2023. He was released 2 months after without making an appearance. Okay. I really want to see this. Well, hold on. Where? What? This was the source they have for this, but it's not here. Oh, all right. Former Celtic star Islam Ferris is ditching football to set up a company selling designer caps. Okay. Sure, man. Wow, that's that is certainly a thing that happened. Juan Familia Castillo. That's fun. When you watch video, what source are you using? Y Scout. I thought Juan Familia Castillo. Yeah, Y Scout generally, or full games, like full matches and shows, stuff like that. But generally Y Scout. Yeah, generally Y Scout. Now I'm curious. Hold on, let me go back. I want to just like go through these teams now. What if I what's how far back do I want to go? Let's go like here. Does anyone remember what year the team? Apparently, we're close to announcing a front of shirt sponsor, according to Mike Keegan. Who is Mike Keegan? Mike Keegan. This guy? Who are you? Chelsea closing in on shirt sponsor. 3 airlines and 2 tech companies battling it out. Decision to hold on looks set to pay off. Daishan Redan. Yes, thank you. Thomas Wilkinson. Daishan Redan. Yes, that's the guy. That's him. Yes, you're the best. That's the guy. Daishan Redan. I thought he was so sick, and he was always really good on Football Manager. Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah, Daishan Redan. Shout out. Hold on, now I gotta go find him at... So he's playing in Serie C now. He's scoring, though. 4 goals. Chelsea Ryanair shirt's gonna be Fuego. Yeah, that'd be fun. It's got to be an airline that flies to Brazil. Yeah, Daishan Redan. Yeah, holy. Hold on. So now I gotta go see this. I gotta go find his old stuff. All clubs, Chelsea U18s, all seasons, all competitions. Let's see. What do we got here? 9 and 16. It's not bad. Fun fact. Let's see if he's on this team. Let me see. There's a guy. There's a guy who played PL2 for Swansea who came to play in university in Canada, and he was nasty. He came to the school that I coached at. He played on the men's side. Also, unrelated, Clinton Mola. Legitimately loved this guy. I think he's at Stuttgart now. He's at Reading now. Yeah, I really liked Clinton Mola. Bristol Rovers. But yeah, he was fun. I liked Clinton Mola. He could play like 12 positions. Daishan Redan, thank you for getting that. I'm really glad. I guess we would have found it as I kept going through the teams, but all right, let's see what they got. Let's see what they're saying. Close to announcing front of shirt sponsor with 4 or 5 names in the hunt, according to sources. Around 3 airlines, 2 tech companies are battling it out. We're defying critics on the field. So, like, I was wondering. What is going on? You know when like a group chat pops off and like all of a sudden there's 200 messages and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. That's what's happening right now. Interesting. Actually, here's a chat. Here's a question for chat. Jesus, this website is an eyesore. Yeah, it is. Here's a question for chat. Inspector Gadget theme hours in the stream. That is what I was humming. Would you take Garnacho? That is the message that popped up in the chat from Dimitri. This is Dimitri's. It's going to be backwards. You can't read it. Would you take Garnacho? In relation to Garnacho being left out of United squad, I would take Garnacho for sure. We don't need wingers though. This is the thing, but I really like Garnacho. I think he's sick, but like, I think Garnacho is very good. I would 100% take him. I would do. Here's what I would do. I would go to United and be like, we'll overpay for Garnacho if you take Mudryk. Like, I would swap the Mudryk and Garnacho. Like, if they paid exactly what is left on... Wow, all you guys are no. Really? A lot of... I think Chelsea would. No. 100%. No. He annoys me, but like a clear best left winger. No. Terrible attitude and apparently leaks squads to his brother. No. Only if we shift the winger. If we sell Mudryk. His brother is enough reason to steer clear. What's the deal with his brother? I don't know about the brother. I haven't heard any of this. Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, Chelsea still have to get rid of Raheem Sterling. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Swap Mudryk for Garnacho, and I could do that. I could talk myself into it. But I don't know. We're never gonna get off Raheem Sterling. This is never gonna happen. Apparently he's gone full mountain, leaking lineups. Talks constantly on Twitter. Oh, he's one of those guys. Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that at all. All right, sorry, I got really distracted there. But you don't always see a not active group chat pops off like 200 messages. Bigger sums. Oh, that's it. That's the whole article. Cheers. Love this. That's real. So a thing I'm actually pretty curious about is to see if this is like the deal is for the rest of the year, but also it's like the next 4 years or something, and it's like they're getting a free month here and there in exchange for paying for it now. I'm very curious to see if that's what happens. If like they're paying for the rest of this season at full market rate, because Chelsea are definitely going to make Champions League now. Most in-depth and well-researched source, Daily Heil. That's incredible. Is the Mount leaking team news true? Ha ha ha. I find it odd even rational Chelsea fans hating on him. What I have heard is that a lot of the anti-Mount stuff at the end was actually his dad. His dad was apparently being a real shyster. Pepe Silvia, Colwell's FB ref looks meh, but he looks pretty good on the eye test. What do you think? Why do you think that is? So here's why I think this is. Because data for center backs is really, really, really hard. Solid passing volume, solid defensive actions, very low aerials. It's hard, man. Like, center back data scouting is so far in the way the hardest position to check for. To me, the things that like stand out as obvious positives are he gets lots of passes, which means he's actively being utilized in the build. He has a very high pass completion rate for medium and longer passes, which means like you're getting really good like through ball or like line breakers, especially when the progressive passes are pretty good. The defensive activity stuff is like okay. This is a real positive that like when he goes into 1v1s, he wins them a lot. Same with the but then it's like he doesn't win very much in the air. So it kind of all, it's hard. It's very hard to data scout center backs. Like even if I go to like Van Dijk, right? Like whatever, Van Dijk is probably still the best center back in the world. And it's like pretty good. Yeah, I thought Colwill was like better defensively than he was in possession today. Like you look at this and you're like, yes, there's lots of green. He doesn't turn it over much. This is great. But there's other center backs who look like this who stink. So hard to say. It's center back data scouting is very, very, very hard. Cole has previously won a high proportion of his duels. Yeah, it's hard because like he doesn't go into many is the other thing. He's like pretty conservative. Like he's only contesting 3 aerials a game. Like that's not a lot. And also like set pieces count as aerial duels. So like what are you gonna do with that? Yeah, like he's won more in the past. Sure. But like look how few there are. Like, okay. Like 43 and 20. Like 60 duels. It's so easy to go the other way on 60 duels. You win like 2 more and it all flips. If we get a center back to upgrade on Disasi Tosin, the squad suggests a Konate adjacent kind of profile who's an absolute mountain. Do you have a pick? Not off rip. Let's see who turns up. You're not getting anybody on this list. So that's out. This is interesting. Who's this guy? I haven't watched any Villarreal. It's interesting he popped up. No, the one that I like is this guy. No, that's because they're not called that. The one that I like and have watched a bunch of video on is Ousmane Diomande. I think he is like the profile of like extremely physically talented, good in the air, does not turn the ball over, excellent passer, like this is like what I would want. Very good long passer, can break lines. He's also like pretty good on the dribble. Like he can really like break a line to go on the carry. Like the carry stuff really stands out to me. And then yeah, he's a freaking monster in the air. Yeah, Diomande is like the one, but Diomande has a huge release clause. Like you're paying a lot of money, and I'm 99% sure United are gonna buy him. I've been hearing tons of rumors about Bastoni. Bastoni's sick. Bastoni is so good. Somebody's car alarm is going off. I hope you can't hear that because it's very loud. Yeah, Bastoni's nasty player. But again, not like an aerial guy. I don't think it's a great fit unless he had like a weird contract thing. But he makes a ton of money. Like you're not doing that deal under any conditions. I don't think. By Sporting, you don't have to worry about the release clause. No, you have to do fair market value transactions, my friend. Related parties. That deal is dead, anyways, I think. Who are the other center backs that somebody said they like the Sporting center backs? I assume it's DeBast and Inacio. I don't really like Inacio. I think he's way too lightweight. I think he would get murked in the Premier League physically. Abdulkadir Kusanov. I've not watched this guy even one time. What's the ZZZ purely interested for his 1 in a billion profile, TBH? What's his 1 in a billion profile? I don't know anything about this guy. So tell me more. Tell me more and I'll come back to him. Yeah, that Diomande though is the profile of dude that wrong Diomande. Usman Diomande. Odion Kasunu at Leverkusen, I think, is another one that is that how you spell it? I'll just go to Leverkusen. But that profile of like super physically talented. Where'd he go? There, here he is. He's not playing. I think he's injured right now. No, he doesn't play for them anymore. That's why. He's at Atalanta. Yeah, Kasuna is like another one I kind of like. Castello Lucaba, not the one for me. Not the one for me. Again, like I don't think he's big enough. Like he's more fullbacky, I think. Tomas Araujo. I actually watch like a more Portuguese league than I should because I have a friend who's a big Sporting fan, but I don't like Araujo either. I think like physically he would struggle. Whereas like I think Diomande could hack it. Hincapi's interesting. Hincapi came up on a bunch of lists for me like 3 years ago. When I was looking for stuff, like his first Leverkusen season, I was like, oh, this guy, there's something there. But again, like kind of weird. I would be. This is very funny. I would love if he decides I'm done with Spurs. I would love it. I would totally take a sniff around Christian Romero. I think he would be a really good fit. I think he would be an excellent fit. Schlotterbeck doesn't move me. I'm also not super keen for it to be a lefty. I actually really want for it to be a righty more than anything. But I would like really sniff at Romero. I think that would be a really fun one. Same with Van de Ven. Van de Ven I think is nice. Not that I'm like itching to go get Spurs players, but I think Romero's pretty good. He's just injured a lot. Who else? What other names got thrown around in there? Murillo, no thank you. Sangante, Ordóñez, and Malik Tia. I don't know Sangante. Aruna Sangante. I don't know this guy. It's a lot of aerial wins, though. I don't know him. Let's see, Ordóñez. Which Ordóñez? Christian Ordóñez? Nope. I don't know which Ordóñez. Yeah, I don't want it to be a lefty because I think Buddy Chile is like totally adequate cover as the left center back, and that's fine by me. Tiano doesn't move me. Doesn't move me. But I do want like a big Bashir Humphreys. Bash is gone. He's already off to Burnley. That deal will not happen. Like that he's not coming back. Bash I think is also not athletic enough. Good player, really good passer, but I don't think like physically he can do. The other thing is like maybe it's Alfie Gilchrist. He's not big enough, but like Alfie Gilchrist is like a real player. Like he's having a really good year in the championship. I wonder, like, could you bin Gusto and bring Gilchrist and play Josh, and like that's your. Like maybe it's Josh. Maybe it's just Josh is the right center back. Like that's a totally reasonable. I think it's probably a little bit early, but it's possible. You could totally get there with Josh as the right center back. Christian Mosquera, which Mosquera? Valencia Mosquera? I was going to say if it's Yerson, no. No, there's not enough passing. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't pass. It's hard. This is the thing. Chelsea are at a point now where like this team is clearly good enough. There's no projects. You're not buying projects. You're buying guys who are legit really good right now. Like you need guys who can play right now. Let's see. Like I actually quite like the Bundesliga center backs because they're like clearly comfortable with playing with ridiculously high lines. So I always like having a sniff. Like maybe it is Luke, but I don't know. Not my favorite, but we'll see. It'll be. I do think that's a big profile for us though. But maybe it is Josh. That's you could get there. All right. Get your last questions and then we'll call it a day. We've been here for 2 hours. And we had so many people today, which was cool. We got up to 90, which I think is the highest we've had. Kouliarakis. Pano, you're Greek, right? That's your thing. Konstantinos Kouliarakis. Oh. This is a very interesting profile. Gehi keeps getting linked. I don't want Gehi. He's fine, but he makes a ton of money and he's going to be really expensive. No, thank you. I'm also like fine with playing Disasi more, by the way. Totally fine with that. This guy's legit, dude. Where did he come from? This is a really interesting stat profile. Not that passy though. Huh. He's definitely doing... Huh. I don't watch Wolfsburg. Does he do... 21? Do they do back three stuff? Like, so it's a 4 here, but do they do back three stuff and then he goes as a left center back? Because that would explain his passing profile. I am intrigued, my friend. I want to know more. This I don't love, but I bet you there's going to be a lot of crosses and passes to the penalty area, so he's for sure playing really high. They do 3-2, he goes left center back, so he's bombing on though. He's like going, like he's not sitting deep, he's going from there. Yeah, because Mila is like very aggressive wingback type. That's interesting. Well, I'll keep an eye on this guy. All right, cool. I like that one. Favorite? No, okay, hold on. Center backs first. Does Chalobah clear most options? The thing with Chalobah is like he can do the right back, right center back role, and I really like Trev, but I've been thinking about this a lot, and like I think he can really only play a back three for a really, really top team. He's just like not good enough in the air, and he's just an okay enough passer in settled possession. I think he's legit. I think he's good. I would keep him. He's a useful squad player who doesn't complain and plays lots of positions at a totally good level. I would keep him. Very good player. Ipswich should try and buy him. For sure. But apparently he doesn't want to go to like a not quite good team, which is fair. I like Trev, but I don't think he's quite... If you want to win a league, which is like where Chelsea are now, they want to win a league. I don't think he's quite there. I don't think he's quite that guy. Good squad player, though. Favorite sandwich is a... That's a good question. I really like... You're going to like this. You're going to like this. My favorite sandwich is prosciutto with mozzarella, arugula, and balsamic. That's like my go-to. Big fan. Big fan of I really like arugula and balsamic as like a topping. I had a sandwich in Florence on vacation in February that I still think about at whatever the famous place is. And it was really good. I took it and then I walked to Artemio Franchi, right? That's Fiorentina Stadium. I walked to Fiorentina Stadium from the Duomo with a sandwich and a coffee, and it was a truly delightful day. And then Fiorentina won 5-0, and I got an assist. Thiago Silva was at this game. Love that. Bournemouth right center back Zabarni. Is that who we're talking about? Or the new one? The young guy. What's his name? Huijsen. How is that guy Spanish? Let's see. Yeah, people like Huijsen a lot. A lot. He scored a set piece the other day. I would be intrigued. Jabarni? No, not for me. Already. Huijsen, I'm moved. Thoughts on Anthony Robinson? You mean Jetty? Jetty the Jedi? He's fine. I think the way Chelsea play, it's like not worth to get him. But he's fine. Solid player. Not one for me though. He does like a lot of creative stuff, and he's better defensively than he used to be, but I think he's still not there. You know what I mean? Yeah, not one for... This is like one of those, if they got relegated and he was really cheap, no. Yeah, like not for me. Somebody asked way earlier Jonathan David or Nkunku for this team, and Nkunku's way better than Jonathan David. I really like Jonathan David, but Nkunku is way better than him. Any guys behind the scenes we're linked with that might surprise people? I have not heard any specific names about anybody. I know that they asked about... I would love Olena as a squad player, but I don't think you're buying those guys anymore. I had heard Chelsea asked about Jonathan David pre-contract, but it was just like crossing T's and dotting I's to see what was up. I would be shocked if that deal's happening. I think David will end up joining a like mid-tier Premier League team though, like a Villa or a Spurs, something like that. Or he'll go to like Inter. The only like business I've heard is that Maresca wants a DM, a defensive midfielder. That's the only thing I've heard, and I don't know if that's like we'll go get Andre back or something. I don't know. That's the only thing I've heard. But even then, I would be pretty surprised if we did any incomings in January, unless there was an injury. Knock on wood. But I would be pretty surprised if we did any incomings. Outgoings, I suspect there will be a lot. I suspect we'll see Casadei go. I suspect we'll see Ugochukwu get a new loan. I suspect we'll see probably Dewsbury Hall leave on loan with a view to a permanent. I bet you that happens. They have been not shy about cutting their own mistakes pretty quickly, but I think Dewsbury Hall will be the first bad one. I don't know. Yeah, in January I would suspect it'll be like fringe squad guys move. Carney will go. Harvey Vale will go. I actually don't know about Harvey Vale. I do wonder at this point if he just stays and then leaves on a free in the summer. But yeah, I think it'll be like Cherney and not really anything crazy. Luka, who is even on the DM market. This is the thing. The DM market's going to be frothy, too, because City have to buy one. And United probably need one. Like, the DM market's going to be very frothy. Papelu at Villarreal is going to get a big move. Maybe. He's, like, kind of older. It's possible. Papelu is not Villarreal, though. I think he's Valencia, right? Nope, that's not him. That's not him. Papelu. Yeah, it's Valencia, not Villarreal. For Papelu. Which is what I thought, because that Valencia team suck. Jose Luis Garcia Vaya. Papelu. Zoom zoom. Unrelated thoughts on Cherky. Cherky's good, bad fit for Chelsea, but one of the like worst Premier League teams should totally go get him. Transfer Flow did a write-up on him this week. Yep, yeah, Kim flagged Papelu as like a good like peak age guy that Valencia should try and sell because he's peak age and their team sucks, but they probably won't be relegated. Yeah, they did. Transfer Flow has been really good. I'm enjoying a lot of their things because they're like they know like they've been doing this. It's all like Ravi and Kim and Tim and like all those like they've been working, so they know. Their pods are pretty good. They're weird though. They don't think Chelsea are very good. They also are like, I don't know. They're my vibe of the way they speak about Chelsea is very off from what I would have expected. Where they're like, oh, Chelsea are about the same as last year. It's like, no, they're not. Look. Lucas Gornaduath. I like LGD. He's good. But again, it's another one. It's like, why are you still in Austria? But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But I really like LGD. Again, for Chelsea, it's like, until you decide what you're going to do with Andre, you can't make any decisions. Because Andre's really good. And you don't want to do it. I do think there's like a chance they sell him. But we'll see. Yeah, let's see. Look at the La Liga Pachichi race. Why is 98-year-old Robert Lewandowski cleaning up so far ahead of everyone else? Because Barca are very good, and Lewandowski is very good. Anyways, that's it. I'm calling it. We're calling it a day, friends. And I really need to do this at the beginning, not at the end of the 2-hour stream. I need to do it when there's 100 people here. But I'm going to record a podcast later. I'm really enjoying. I hope you guys are really enjoying. We are going to be live, not after Shamrock Rovers, because I have a busy work week, but Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, all four will be live after. There will be pods after every game. Maybe not. Probably not after Shamrock. Can't lie to you. Probably not, but we'll see. Depends. Maybe if something new happens and I'm excited. But yeah, that's something. If you like it, share them, tweet them, retweet, comment. I think the comments on Apple and Spotify and whatever, if you're listening to the podcast, or the ratings really help. Same with YouTube comments. So if you see the pod, if you watch the podcast on YouTube and you comment on them, it does very well. But I think whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care if you guys see this. The live streams are all going up, and the podcast views are all going up, and it's fun. It's more fun when we see the cool stuff. Anyways, that's gonna be it for all of us. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Another one for Chelsea. Adios, my friends. And I'll leave some extra time to make sure I don't kill the stream.